When the film starts, it is told that many fossils were discovered in the China's mountains long years ago. Fossils means the remains of the prehistoric animal. They built a team to investigate this, which they had named Bureau 789, when those members entered the cave of those mountains with scientists that discovered there a skull of human. That skull was seeming of any human being, but it did not belong to any human. It was appearing, looking at it that, as it is the skull of two humans or the combined form of two human skulls. After this, it is seen that the team named Bureau 749. They are assigned a duty to dig the mountain inner side. They perhaps are searching for anything. When they find a skull of a giant creature there, then they bring that skull out. Getting that skull out, that cave is exploded. As a result of this explosion, the electric waves had also emitted from it, which had destroyed everything. After this incident, scientists Yang wanted to search in this cave, which was not a drop in the bucket. So they choose some of the soldiers for this task. Her daughter Yang Pin was also among of them. And the leading character of this movie named Hu Bai-yi is also seen. Hu Bai-yi, his friend and many other people were also in this team. Now it is seen that those people were moving into the cave. Moving ahead, they reach a place which is thought a ghostly tribe. It means that ghosts used to dwell there before. But that ghostly tribe had ended from there. They reached the opposite side of mountain, coming out of the cave, where they had observed a mark on snow. That mark was the footprint of a giant creature. Seeing this, scientist Yang were so shocked. About which, they had immediately informed to his director in headquarters. Moving forward, they observed many bats which were different from the common bats. Because their color was blue. It is seen here that those bats attack scientist Yang. But a soldier captures that bat, moving ahead. The soldier's that hand started burning with which he had captured that bat. With that hand, his whole body is turned into skeleton after burning. It means, he is completely burnt. It is known that these bats are called fire bats. They move ahead in any way, escaping from these bats. But the disaster had not diminished for them because a giant monster had appeared there. As it steps on the mountain and the frozen snow on the mountain is cracked. Consequently, a terrible snowstorm breaks out there. So the people begin to run while escaping from this. But many people had buried under this snow. Due to this, they had died. While other survivors jump into a ditch from that snow to secure their life. But luck did not support them there because the frozen snow in that ditch, it was in pointed form, which is stabbed into the bodies of many jumpers into the ditch. So they lose their breaths. Meanwhile, movie's main characters Hu Bai-yi and Yang Pin, which were tied with a rope. As they fall into that ditch, they don't die like other victims, but they hang with a snow pillar in the ditch. But they don't continue hanging there, because their rope had weakened, and they both had fallen down. The scene drops here and the scene after sometimes is shown here, where Hu Bai-yi has restored his senses and he witnesses. Fortunately, he has survived and Yang Ping is also with him. And he also observes that Yang Ping's father scientist Yang and his friend had also survived. Now scientist Yang go forward, taking them. Now they reach a tower named Demon Tower. It is known here that scientist Yang was searching for this place from a long time ago. And the whole enigma of this movie is also hidden in this tower. As that scientist lights the candle placed before that tower, then that tower also begins to burn. And the place where they had lightened the candle, a biggest ray was also generating from the same place. Scientist says to Hu Bai-yi and his daughter Yang Ping, with this tower is closed before a long time. And it is waiting for someone, that someone may come and open this. So he asks both of them to enter. And the tower's top had started to open with their entry. The bright light was showering from there. As they have opened any door of light. With this, many people's souls are witnessed out of this tower. It is also seen that the stones out of that tower had lost the gravitation power. It is witnessed before that tower may open fully, that Hu Bai-yi's friend falls on that candle which was lightened by that scientist. And that tower's top is also closed with the blowing out of that candle. It is revealed here that it had been committed with a thought by Captain. Because he was not willing to open the demon tower. Its reason will be exposed further. That man was telling everything to Hu Bai-yi here, that the previous fire bats attacked them. And Hu Bai-yi's friend makes others to run away. And he keeps standing there as being the attraction of those bats. As all people move away and all bats come close to him, then he blasts himself with an explosive. So he was surely died, but many fire bats had also ended with him. It is seen here as some bats were still left, which were flying after the other people including Hu Bai-yi, Yang Ping and her father, and they reach a falling stream, escaping from them. And one of the bats attacks Hu Bai-yi here. Seeing this, Yang Ping quickly pushes Hu Bai-yi into the water. And she also jumps into the water with him. They were still not safe, jumping into the water, because of frightening creatures from the water had attacked them. Hu Baiyi had survived, but Yang Ping had become the victim of that creature. The scene drops here and Hu Baiyi is seen in a hospital, where the director of his team, main Bureau 749, tells him that, all team members are ended except you. It is only you who have survived. He was saddened, knowing this, because his friend Yang Ping had also been finished in this accident, so he did not want to resume his job. So he searches for a librarian seat, returning from here, where Mr. Yang hires him as an employee in his library. They both go to a restaurant for dinner where Hu Baiyi meets his childhood friend. On the other side, Team Bureau 749 is shown. It means the team where Hu Baiyi used to be a member. They had discovered Yang Ping in an old coffin. But the mysterious fact was this here. She had nothing in her memory about herself. She had perhaps forgotten everything because of that accident. Contrarily, it is also shown that Yang Ping's father was also alive. Shockingly, he was found 1,200 miles away from the place of the mishap. The scene drops here in the destroyed city. This city was appearing now as such as no one ever inhabited there, because of very strange creatures had attacked it. The scientist Yang is seen here, meeting with the director of their team. And the scientist was telling something to the director. It was that fact which was the cause of this city's destruction. He tells that I had opened the portal of another world mistakenly. Due to this, many creatures and aliens have approached here, and they are creating a chaos here, and I will have to stop all these happenings. It is seen that Hu Baiyi had known through library that scientist had already visited that tower. Even he has also written a book on that tower. He was shocked, thinking this, why was he searching for that tower again? He starts searching on that demon tower after being confused on all these facts. His waist begins to burn immediately while doing so, and this fire was like that fire which used to make the people burn into it by fire bats. Hu Baiyi's friend who had encountered him in the restaurant, he was trying to extinguish that fire instantly, coming there, but Hu Baiyi throws his friend away after hitting, instead letting him to extinguish the fire. Then he lifts all presented objects in the room into the air with his power. At the same time, Mr. Wang comes here, who was librarian. He moves all the objects down with his magic, and Hu Baiyi's fire on his body is also extinguished. Now question rose how Hu Baiyi possessed much powers with no time. He was a normal being before. It is revealed here by Mr. Wang. Hu Baiyi had owned much powers because of the ick of fire bats. It is known during the discussion of these facts that Mr. Wang is not a common librarian. He is rather a guardian of an old ritual. At first sight, Mr. Wang changes that place into Vold. Mr. Wang tells them here that there had arrived aliens 1 decade ago. And he tells that Demon Tower is that place through which they had reached Earth planet. It means, this tower belonged to them. But he tells that those aliens had started to harm the human beings. So Hu Baiyi's parents had killed them. The Demon Tower through which those aliens used to come, it was sealed with his body. If the recently passed scene is mentioned here, where scientist Yang was telling the director that I had opened the portal of aliens world, so he had actually opened that tower. Due to this, some of the aliens had approached to Earth. Mr. Wang was telling Hu Baiyi here as that tower had been sealed by Hu Baiyi's parents, so Hu Baiyi's blood will be required to open that tower. It had revealed here. Why did the scientists take Hu Baiyi there? Mr. Wang also tells him here that before 1 decade, when his parents had returned all aliens to their world, then some aliens had hidden here which married the human beings. So their kids are half aliens, and half human beings. On the other side, scientist Yang is seen, who had gone somewhere, quitting with his group. But he had stated his direction on a paper while leaving, to which direction he will leave. So the director of Team Bureau 749 comes to Hu Baiyi, so he may help him to search for scientist. Hu Baiyi says here, how can I do this? Director tells on this, Yang Ping was encountered before a few days by us. According to her, it is only you who can search for scientist. Saying this, he leaves from there. Hu Baiyi got excited, hearing the news of Yang Ping's life. Now he tells Mr. Wang about this, moving there. Now Mr. Wang tells him that you go to that tower to find out him. That tower's door had little opened when you had visited there last time. As a result, many aliens have come here. But on the requisition of Hu Baiyi, he permits Hu Baiyi to go to search for scientist, and Hu Baiyi's childhood friend also requests him to go with him. Now they both move to Yang Ping. But Hu Baiyi feel dismayed, going to her. Because Yang Ping has nothing in her memory about her past, and she introduces herself to Hu Baiyi as Shirley. Now a student of scientist comes to Yang Ping, who is mission chief. He and other members go in search of scientist. Hu Baiyi says to everyone on the way, I have doubt that scientist is moving there for a specific mission. Afterwards, they begin to have rest. When all wake up early in the morning, there was broken out a terrible storm in that desert where they were present. They were running while escaping, but there some of members are separated in this turmoil. Some people had entered that city about which it had been told before, that creatures had destroyed that city while attacking it. They all were very shocked, seeing that city. Hubai's friend had also separated from them here. Hubai goes in his search as he knows about this. But one old man forbids him in their team. He says, he will never be straight if our animals will be with them. Because the ways of this desert are in the mind of those animals. On the other side, rest of the people are also seen with Hubai's friend, who had separated from them. A giant weird monster attacks them there, and he kills a number of the people among them. Hubai's friend finds a bicycle there. One more man with Hubai's friend reach Hubai, escaping from that monster. Hubai was very excited here, seeing his friend. He had reached here under the state of fear and he was telling all about the creatures while weeping. He requests to all, we should leave this place. Now Hubai was saying to his mission chief to leave this place. But mission chief says to him, we cannot quit from this mission. He tells the main goal of his mission here. He tells that, our goal is not only to search for scientists. Rather, it is needed to search for those creatures which are victimizing the people. But Hubai was insisting to move from here. And he also asks Yang Ping to leave but she does not agree. That mission chief asks him, why are you running after being afraid from here? Have you forgotten all people who were with you on the mountain? And they had lost their lives. Hearing this, Hubai also accompanies them as being sentimental. Now they had started to hear the sounds of creatures during this conversation. They all get ready, holding their weapons. When monster attacks them then they all fall it down while firing their gun at it for a moment. But the trouble was still not over. Because another creature had appeared from backside to attack them. They were also firing their guns at the other monster. But that monster was averting. That monster immediately runs forward, after whom Shirley or Yang Ping was also running. Now Hubai also reaches such a room while running after running Yang Ping, where the ceiling was covered with the hanging dead bodies of the humans. And he observes a great pit on the floor of the same room. And the people are also seen outside where many creatures had appeared before them. And they were getting ready to face them. While Hubai had come into a tunnel, passing through that hole, and that tunnel had opened in such a world which had been showed him by librarian, about which he had informed that he himself takes care of this world. And a creatures attacks him in this world. Hubai had fallen down there because of the attack. Then Shirley comes here and she meets with that creature in such a way as it is her pet. And that creatures also behaves with her politely. While Shirley puts Hubai's body into a placed coffin there, lifting it with her magic. Shockingly, Hubai's all wounds had recovered, coming into this coffin. Now he was in the demon tower while waking up, which had been seen at the beginning of the movie. And he was visualizing the glimpses of his past. It is seen here. When Yang Ping had been attacked in the water by any creature, then that creature had brought her to the demon tower, lifting him. And a light had emitted from that tower as she had reached there, which was actually a soul. That spirit had enchanted Yang Ping. And Yang Ping had turned like that soul. It may be said there was another entity in her body, whose name was Shirley. It was cleared here that Yang Ping was actually Shirley, not Yang Ping, and Shirley's soul had come out of Demon Tower, which may be considered an alien. Now it was being shown in the movie that, in fact, Shirley was actually causing attacks on the people through those all creatures. And Shirley also cause of attacking on Hubai and one more friend through its creature. But Hubai's friend immediately calls his companion into a bus. But that creature does not stop to chase them, even it damages the entire bus. On the other side, Demon Tower's site is again shown, where Hubai was present. Where alien Shirley, who had got a complete of Yang Ping, it was asking Hubai to open that tower. As it had been told before, that Hubai is that man who can open the portal of this tower. Shirley says to him, if you open the portal of this tower then I will return you Yang Ping. When alien Shirley notices that Hubai is not being convinced by it, then it threatens him, I will end all members of your team. But Hubai was still not entrapped by its words. He warns it, I will end you if you took as such step. But I will not open this tower. Hearing him, Shirley shifts him at that place, where his companions were fighting with the creatures of Shirley. Hubai also begins to fight with those creatures here. But a creature attacks him. Due to this, he was nearly to die. Now Yang Ping appears here, who was entirely under the control of Shirley. She saves Hubai from those monsters, coming there. And she keeps his head in her lap, coming near to him, where Hu Baiyi says to it, "You're looking like my friend Yang Ping." Saying this, he fires his gun at it. Consequently, Shirley's soul is ended from her. And all its scent monsters are also disappeared with this. That demon tower is also disappeared with its death. Shirley tells him at its last breath, "It was only you who could kill me." Saying this, it leaves the body of Yang Ping completely. Yang Ping had also died because Hu Baiyi had fired his gun at Yang Ping's body. Hu Baiyi was so dejected, witnessing her. But he does not lose his courage. And he brings Yang Ping to that ritual place which was guarded by Mr. Wang. And Mr. Wang had told him, this coffin is used to resurrect the people. So he places Yang Ping into that coffin, bringing her. While it is told here about the background of Yang Ping, it is known here that Yang Ping's father, who was actually a scientist, he had wedded with an alien. So she had also genes of aliens, so she could revive the living beings. When she had revived a sparrow, but her mother had forbidden her to act as such. Because Yang Ping's mother had also died in her youth, so Yang Ping could also lose her life in young age. And her father was searching for that demon tower to secure her life. So he may found out the cure of that curse, moving into that demon tower. While it had been seen at the start of the movie that all those people had fallen into a snowy ditch. Actually, they all had died there, and Yang Ping had rescued all here, using her magical power. It means that she had revived them. Because Yang Ping had those powers, due to this, she could resurrect the humans. No one possessed such power, and the coffin which used to resurrect the humans through these powers, it had not revived Yang Ping. Being sorrowful, her friend Hu Baiyi was leaving her here. In the end of the movie, it is witnessed, that creature is still alive after his departure. This movie completes on this scene showing this. Thank you for watching.